Hello and welcome to episode 91 of the Daily Sales Message, where each and every single day, for at least the last 91 days in a row now, we've provided you with a piece of simple and actionable advice that's designed to help you feel more confident and sell more stuff. If you're new around here, my name is James Newell and I teach people how to sell. And for me, it comes in two very distinct parts. First of all, you need to have a clear sales message. People have to understand what you're trying to sell to them. And secondly, you need selling confidence, the ability to be comfortable and confident in a selling situation. In today's episode of the Daily Sales Message, we're tackling the DIY issue that some of you face with your buyers. Some of your buyers won't want to buy or think your offering is expensive because they're considering DIY. They're considering doing it themselves. And for some things, unless you're prepared for it, it can be really difficult to explain why doing it yourself isn't the best option. One of the most obvious comparisons that comes to mind is if you're a photographer. If you're taking headshots for a business, for example, or pictures for a business's website, they might think, well, I've got an iPhone, I'll just do this myself. How bad can it be? And they don't really equate the fact that, well, yes, they're taking pictures, but will it be of the quality that they want, and will it actually work for them? They're just seeing the amount of money that they're saving, not the amount of cost, so to speak, that doing it themselves is going to have. So when you're presented with the DIY issue of, we're thinking about taking this in-house or doing it ourselves, or even if you sense it and you suggest it in conversation, say, I know sometimes people consider doing this themselves, but we often recommend against that. Here's why. This is why it doesn't happen. There's a few main things to consider, and I'm just going to run through this list here, and you can take some notes and work out which one of these will apply to your offering. First up is quality and results. So as with the photography example, we're not all professional photographers, but you can definitely tell the difference between professional photography and non. So what's the difference in quality or result if somebody does it themselves? There could be speed. So how quickly could you do something? If I'm going to create my own website, for example, I need to work out how WordPress or Wix or Squarespace, all these other places work. It's not going to be a case of I'll do it in an evening. It might take me a little while to get up to speed and to learn it. And if it's going to take me that time, there are a couple of things at play there. If it takes long for me to do it, well, there's a cost to that time because I don't have a website in that time. What's that cost me? But also I'm spending my own time doing this, and my own time is probably better spent doing what I actually do for a living. So that's quality, results, speed, errors, of course. Going back to the website example, I might make some ridiculously stinky, obvious errors, but I don't know about it because it's my first time. And obviously, if I pay somebody to do it, we can avoid that. Cost. Now, there is this ironic argument that doing something yourself can be more expensive, and we've nearly all experienced this, and DIY, literally do it yourself, home improvement DIY, is a great example here. I don't know about you, but I've tried to do things before myself, like fix things and build things, etc., and had a problem, failed miserably, and then have to pay somebody to fix the rubbishy work that I did and do it properly. So although on the face of it, it feels like doing it yourself is free because you're not outwardly paying money for it, there is a cost to it. There's a cost to everything. And as sellers, it's up to us to make that clear to the buyer. And the final two that we'll cover here are tools. So if I'm building a website, I might not even be aware of certain tools and things that I could use to make the job quicker and easier and better. So I'm going to waste time doing things manually. And legal liability. It's not for every industry, but particularly here in the UK for electricians, you cannot tinker with electricity in your home. You have to have a registered person there. There is a legal liability there. So when somebody says to you, we're thinking of doing it ourselves, or you get that sense that they're going to do it themselves, just remember to talk to them about the quality and the results they're going to get, how long it's going to take them to get the result, the speed of that, the simple errors that they might make, the fact that it's going to probably cost them more to do it themselves anyway, in most cases, not in all. The tools that they're going to have access to, I might have access to certain pieces of software that you'll never get access to because it's enterprise level stuff, so you're going to have to work around that. And finally, any kind of legal liability. What could go wrong here? Doing it yourself isn't always as simple and straightforward and cut and dried as it's cheaper and it's easier, so let's do it. If only. It's not that simple. But for us as sellers, it's up to us to make this argument clear to our buyer. Obviously, we're not trying to push or coerce them. We just want them to make the best decision for themselves, but we need to present them with all the evidence. Tomorrow on the Daily Sales Message, we're talking about a lovely phrase, 2 words, specific sales. Specific sales. I'll get into that in a little bit more detail. I'll be more specific tomorrow. God, these puns are terrible, aren't they? I'll be more specific tomorrow in episode 92 of the Daily Sales Message. That's it for today. If you haven't already connected with me on LinkedIn, then please feel free to do so. Shoot me a DM. Let me know what you enjoy about the Daily Sales Message podcast. If you've implemented some of the things I've been talking about over the last 91 episodes, it's always really good to hear how that stuff comes out in real world scenarios. Thank you again for listening. I really appreciate your time and attention. I'll see you tomorrow for another episode of the Daily Sales Message.